Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy FRE, $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why, just check out the channel. And welcome back to the Black Man's Guide to World Travel. Barranquilla Colombia footnotes. Okay, as you guys know, whenever I do a Black Man's Guide to a place I go around the world, I always try to go back eventually and do a footnotes. Because although most things stay the same, sometimes the price or the name of the places do tend to change. Now, if you want a full 2.5 hour long detailed description of how my experience was, at the end of this video, click the link that says The Black Man's Guide to World Travel Barranquilla Carnival Review. Okay, so as I do on all of my Black Man Guides, I'm going to point to a time on the screen right now where I'm going to talk about my experience with the women in Barranquilla, Colombia. And this will include non-pros and pros. So if you're a woman, a man, or anything in between who gets offended by the truth, my truth, then please stop the video at the time that I'm pointing to on the screen right now. So the first thing I believe you need to know when planning your trip is that there is an airport in Barranquilla, Colombia. However, you can also fly to Cartagena, which is an airport an hour and a half away, as well as Santa Marta, which is an airport 2 hours away, just in case Barranquilla flights do not go directly from where you live. Secondly, once you land in the airport in Barranquilla, to get to the section which I'm going to tell you is the safest, or what people consider the higher strata section, is going to be about 30 minutes away from the airport. So you want to make sure that if you get there late at night, you have a good driver who you trust or plan ahead to come and pick you up, because there aren't really going to be many taxi cabs out there waiting after approximately 10 o'clock. Now, I do have a private driver that I use that I've known for almost 4 years now, and he's retired military and has a fleet of drivers. So if you want to use his services, I'll leave the information in the description to this video. Okay, so when you're picking your Airbnb or hotel to stay at in Barranquilla, you want to make sure you look into the north of Barranquilla. The reason why you want to do this is because this is the highest strata, or the highest economical part of Barranquilla. Now, the south of Barranquilla is also good. I come from Newark, New Jersey, so you know I understand the vibe. But you have to understand this. In the south of Barranquilla, a lot of people aren't going to speak English, and it's going to be a little bit more dangerous for people because the economic opportunity isn't there, and you don't want to be an opportunity. So just stay in the north of Barranquilla. Now, the building I stayed at this time was District 90. This was the best location I stayed at of all the times I've been to Barranquilla. The reason why I believe this was the best area to stay in is because in walking distance, about 1 to 2 minutes, there's a 24-hour store that's open all night, as well as the banks of Colombia and food, and it's not too far of a walk from where the parades are at. Another important thing to know is that Uber does work in Barranquilla, Colombia. Now, whether it's illegal or legal, I do not know, but I will say if it's illegal, the policies are not enforced. However, the rides will ask you to sit in the front seat, and they may take about 10 to 15 minutes to arrive. So I would suggest downloading another app as well called InDriver. Now, the way InDriver app works is that you basically negotiate the price of which you want to go to your location. Now, there is a minimum price that they'll show, but again, it's up to your negotiation how fast you want the car to come or how much you're willing to pay. Now, because I went around carnival time, I knew ahead of time that there were activities that I needed to plan before I even got to Barranquilla, Colombia. Now, the activities you want to plan about 2 to 3 months in advance are the carnival, as far as the parade. If you want to go to it all 3 days, you have to go to Tuboleta, or I think Tuboleta is the best site, so let's just say Tuboleta. You have to go to tuboleta.com and check out the different sections you can stay in. Also, there are different concerts that they have there. Like this time, I went to a concert that had Nicky Jams, and I also went to a Afro Colombian concert. The biggest event will happen on Friday night, and that's the coronation of the Queen of Carnival, and that event is seen all around the world. However, with those tickets, you definitely want to try to go with someone because there's a lot of people, and they're going to cost a nice little penny. Most cell phone carriers will work in Colombia, Barranquilla, and the service to me was pretty good. I have T-Mobile, the service was okay, but I still suggested that if you can, bring a second phone. The reason why I say this is because in large crowds, sometimes people do get pickpocketed. You may lose your phone, you may lose your wallet. I suggest that at nighttime you take out your second phone and take that with you out. But honestly, if you have zippers on your pockets or you have deep jean pockets, you'll be okay. Now, as far as getting a SIM card for the second phone, there are two different ways that I know of. You can go to the Buena Vista Mall area. Now, the Buena Vista Mall area has three different malls inside of this area. There's Buena Vista 1, there's Buena Vista 2, and there's Buena Vista 3. Inside Buena Vista 1 is Exitos. Now, you can also use Claro, but the issue with trying to get a Claro SIM card is that you will have to pay for 3 months service in order to get the SIM card. However, you can go to Exitos and get a prepaid SIM card. Now, the SIM card in Exitos will be about 30 mil for a month. In equivalent to United States dollars, it's almost $7.60. Now, while you're in Exitos, you can also get breakfast because they have a buffet style breakfast where you can get a big piece of chicken, you can get rice, you can get eggs, you can have something to drink with it, and get it all for about like $3 or $4, which is amazing. Also, you can exchange your currency. Now, exchanging your currency at Western Union is a decent exchange. Do not, no matter what you do, exchange your currency at the airport. Doesn't make any sense. But the best place that I saw that gives you the highest exchange rate and they're open 24 hours is a place called Mr. Dollar. I will leave all of the information about Mr. Dollar in the description as well. Okay, now while the city is full of a lot of restaurants and a lot of places to eat and go, there was one place that stuck out for me on this trip. And this place is called Kilimanjaro, also known as Kili. Now what Kili is a beach club that's about 20 to 30 minutes away from the north of Barranquilla. And this place was fire. It's got its own private beach. The food was delicious. And the las mujeres, the women there were spectacular. Now, I was able to meet a person to connect with called Cindy. And I'll put her information in the description because there was a line outside just to get in this place. And if I had not made that advanced reservation through Cindy, I probably would have been sitting outside for about 20 to 30 minutes before I even got in. Now, I will say this. It does cost, I believe, about 50 mil to get there, which is pretty much like $17 or $18 in the Uber. But also, when you get there, you have to pay for each individual person that's going inside. And I believe that might be another 20 to 50 mil, which, again, from $5 to $15. So I would suggest if you're going to Barranquilla, Colombia, and you want to taste some amazing food, go to a nice private beach and see some of the best women you will see, Kili is the spot that you definitely want to go to. Okay, so now that you got your money right, you got your Airbnb set up, you know the different concerts and events you can go to, let's get into the nightlife of Barranquilla, Colombia. Now, the biggest location for the nightlife in Barranquilla, Colombia is on Calle 84. Now, for those that don't speak Spanish, that is on 84th Street. On 84th Street, which is in the north of Barranquilla, you will find about 8 or 9 different bars, 4 or 5 different clubs, all on the same street. And I mean, this street gets wild. The thing is that 84th Street opens about 9 o'clock with the bars, and closes at 4 in the morning. About 4 minutes or 5 minutes walking from the district, there is also a club called Senior Frogs. Now, this club is pretty cool. It starts off light around like 9 o'clock, but around 11 o'clock, it gets packed. Now, there are the regular sections and there's the VIP section. There isn't any like table type setup, but you can pay about 50 mil each person to get into the VIP section, and the bottles aren't too expensive. I believe I got a bottle of Don Julio, and the bottle with food and a couple drinks altogether ended up being like 530 mil, which is relatively a little bit more than $100. If you do have someone in your group that speaks Spanish and there is more than 2 people in your group, you might be able to go to South Barranquilla on a street called 8th Street. On 8th Street is similar to 84th Street, except for the prices of everything is a lot cheaper. They do have some restaurants that are pretty good there as well. There will be some gentlemen's clubs, and you might want to worry a little bit more about pickpocketing. As far as the whole robbery thing, I don't feel as though 8th Street, in my opinion, is that dangerous as long as you get there and get out of there by a certain time. The one thing I will say though is this: a lot of cabs won't take you down to South Barranquilla, so you might have to do InDriver or Uber to make sure you can get there and get back. Okay, now ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the women of Barranquilla Colombia. Okay, so as I do every time I go somewhere, when I talk about women, I have to talk about the pros and the non-pros, because my Black Man's Guide to World Travel is inclusive of all. So let's start with the non-pros of Barranquilla Colombia. Now, the one thing that the United States government right now is saying that there are a lot of people on YouTube that are fear-mongering you to say is that Tinder isn't good. But in my experience, as well as some people I know who live there's experience, Tinder works amazing in Barranquilla, Colombia. Now, you can find both pros and non-pros on Tinder, but there's going to be a significantly higher amount of non-pros on Tinder, simply because Barranquilla's dating culture is more of a non-pro relationship thing. Now, when you go on Tinder, there are certain things you want to make sure you look out for. For example, if a woman does not have their face in more than 3 pictures, in other words, maybe they're not facing the camera, maybe they have their phone blocking their face, or maybe they have sunglasses on, I would be more skeptical to inviting them over or even hanging out with them. You want to make sure that the photos are clear cut and you can see their image. Secondly, a lot of the women are going to want some sort of a relationship on Tinder simply because the culture of Barranquilla is more family orientated. So when you are around women who are family orientated, you're going to get more of a, hey, let's go out on a date. Hey, let's go and see something. Let's go to a carnival. Let's go together to the mall. And those things are going to make it less likely that you'll get robbed or scoped by a non-pro. One thing that a lot of people don't speak on when they talk about dating is the culture of dance. Now, in the coastal area of Barranquilla and some parts of Cartagena and Santa Marta, there is a large Afro-Colombian population. So whereas if you go to Medellin or if you go to Bogota, you may get a lot of people who do salsa. But in Barranquilla, a lot of people will be listening to Afro beats or piano. And if you can vibe out to that, women love to be around you when you can dance. During Carnival, you will also see that a lot of the women on Tinder will be from places that are outside of Barranquilla, but may just be in Barranquilla for Carnival, such as women from Cartagena, women from Santa Marta, and even women from the south of Barranquilla. Now, the one thing I will say is that, listen, regardless if it's a non-pro or a pro, you don't ever want to meet the woman in the south of Barranquilla first. You always want to make sure you send her a Uber or she gets on a bus or a taxi cab to come to the north of Barranquilla, because that will be a better environment and a safer environment to meet someone who you're interested in. Okay, so now let's get into the pros of Barranquilla Colombia. Hey yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way, all platforms. I know y'all looking like, hey yo, what is Flyboy doing? I know there's another part to these videos. Yes, but unfortunately I had to put them behind the paywall because my #1 video, The Black Man's Guide to Cartagena, was taken off. And you guys know when I like to tell a story, I like to tell a story the way it is. I don't like to hold stuff back that others may find offensive. And unfortunately, we cannot do that anymore on most platforms. So until I create my website, I had to put all of the rest of the guides that you're going to see in the full version behind the membership. Eventually, I will create a website, and it will be free just for the guides. I have about 12 different guides right now, 15 different guides right now. I don't know, a lot. So you can subscribe to the membership. I made it only $5 because I think that stops it from being a major issue with YouTube. It's, I guess, something that we kind of worked out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope this helped you. That's the reason why I made these videos PG and put them back on for the whole public to see, because I think with information comes safety. And if you get the information, it can help you stay safe when you travel the world. It's your boy FRE $H Fresh at the Flyboy Way. That's THEFLYBOYWAY. Don't ask why. Just check out the channel, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.